hit that. I'd hit that. I'd hit that. I'd hit that. I'd hit that.
PSP, I'd hit that.
So despite being a hardcore PlayStation fan, I actually don't own a Vita. Yeah, all the people who own it say they love it and it's this amazing machine and it's the best handheld ever made, but honestly the library just isn't there for me. A lot of RPGs and dating sims and a crap ton of indies with one or two generally good PS Vita games. And it's not to say that I'm picking on the Vita, it's just that library can't even hold a candle to all the awesomeness PSP did. This was Sony's first portable console, and they came at it hard. All of their top tier franchises had at least one or two games on the system, and for many, they were as good, if not better, than what the console games were offering. So instead of bitching about why I don't like the Vita and all of that, I figured let's instead focus on what made the PSP so great. So without further introduction, let's talk about the top 10 PSP games.
I say, don't you know? You say you don't know. I say, take me out. I say you don't know. You say you don't know. I say, take me out.
So something people may have forgot is that the PSN didn't actually launch with the PS3. It launched way back with the PSP. So this was our first glimpse into seeing what the future of digital games could be. And one of the first games to get me truly excited for what the future could be was 8 Quest. Yes, in terms of an RPG, it's fairly generic and standard in terms of its equipment and its spells and all those other systems. But the thing that makes this game shine so much is its charm and personality. Everything from the king to the knight to the bad guys, they're all dressed up like Ape Escape monkeys. There's also the silly morality system where you have an angel monkey and a devil monkey playing little mini games to fight each other, and whichever side wins, that's where you align. Yeah, the RPG is fairly basic with standard spells, attacks, and other things of that sort. But the real draw of this game is the mini games. Anything from your accuracy to health pickups to how much loot an enemy is going to drop, peppered through these little mini games that are fast and really fun to play. Great, fun, engaging mini games with a silly sense of humor that Ape Escape series is known for. No, this isn't the greatest RPG of all time, but if you got 5-10 minutes while you're waiting to bus, it's definitely 10 times better than anything you're going to find on a phone today. So something people love about the PS Vita is the fact that it can connect directly to the PSN and download so many great, awesome indie titles, as well as connect to the PS4 via remote play. And those generally are awesome features, if the PSP didn't do it first. Back in the day, if you wanted a demo, you would have to go out, buy a magazine, and wait a month for it to show up. But with the advent of digital games, you could get so many different free tries and demos at a snap of your finger. I spent so many hours just finding any free thing I could get my hands on. And honestly, one of the first things I ever downloaded off the PSN was a demo for Harvey Birdman. Hell, to this day, I still have a Medal of Honor multiplayer demo that's only filled with bots on my PSP because it's just so fun to go in and do a quick match every now and again. But one of the best additions was when they added PS1 classics. I went back and played so many classics like the Spyro trilogy, Crash 3, Medieval, Final Fantasy VII, and so much more. Probably close to 40% of the time I spent with my PSP was hopping between these free demos and these classics. Yeah, I know technically I'm kind of cheating with this, but when I think back to the PSP, I think about just as many free demos and other stuff I tried, as well as those AAA awesome titles. Now, to the average person, the fact that the Vita has a second joystick might not seem like a big deal, but anyone who grew up with the PSP knew just having this one single joystick just wasn't enough, and it really made playing the shooters hard. That being said, there were so many great games that had very creative ways around this, and one of the best ones to do this was Siphon Filter. This was the first time I ever played a game in the series, and honestly, it got me super addicted. Playing similar to games like Splinter Cell and early Metal Gear, this was a stealth game that where you could choose your different equipment and all sorts of different tools and gadgets. It was less about gunfights, more about how stealthy you could be and getting around without the enemy seeing you so much. Yeah, we've played spy games like this before, but the fact that they were able to fit a game of that size onto the PSP is just so amazing. With all the different night vision scopes, the different guns, the different tactics you can use, the fact that you can go in and out of cover, the fact that there was a multiplayer mode, the fact that there was all these optional training missions to keep you busy. There were just so many different things for you to do with this game. So I'm cheat one last itty-bitty time because I try, but I just can't decide. So that's why for this one, I'm gonna be doing Medieval Resurrected and Ape Escape on the Loose. Now these are both great, awesome titles. They're both remakes of PS1 games, and in many ways, I think these are the superior versions and the best way to play these games. That being said, Ape Escape fares a little bit better because it's a much more simple, streamlined port. It's just prettier graphics and kind of improving the controls and stuff like that. Medieval is almost more of a reimagining with different characters and different art styles and all that stuff. But it's still at its core, it's the same levels, it's the same weapons and all the things that made it great. Just the humor and the sense of whimsy is slightly different than what you find in the PS1 game. That's not to say it's bad, it's just different. The other one was definitely much more gothic and dark and demented, and this one's almost Monty Python-esque. So, yeah, I'm a horrible cheater and a liar and a great big phony, but I definitely think these are great games, and if you've never played either one, you should definitely check out one. Now, SOCOM is very similar to Siphon Filter, but on the flip side, as whereas that game was mostly about stealth and trying to be undetected, this one's much more about this straightforward, hardcore action. Now that's not to say it's a full-on action game, it's more tactical action, kind of like the Rainbow Six series. If you just go in guns blazing, you will die. You've got to do as much strategy and planning as you do straight up shooting. Plus combine this with the fact that you have an AI buddy who you can issue a whole bunch of commands to, and it really does make you feel like a tactical elite squad team. Add on the fact that there's a bunch of different multiplayer modes and an instant action mode that switches up where the objective and the enemies are going to be, and all the different equipment you can unlock, and it really offers a lot of different ways to tackle missions. Plus, it could connect to the PS2. The PS2 to unlock unlockables between the two, and if you played the PS2 game, you could unlock intel that would actually make this game easier. Yeah, at its core, it's just a really standard shooter. It's not about the story or the visuals or anything. It's just about the pure fun of going in, trying these different little modifiers, and seeing how much fun you can have replaying missions over and over and over again. So in this age of so many great LEGO games, LEGO Dimensions, it's hard to forget that the first series that actually got all this LEGO hype going was LEGO Star Wars. Now, I had never actually played the first one, nor any of the PS2, so this was my first exposure to the series. And even back then, it's got the same core basic principle that makes all the other LEGO games fun to play. Just smash everything in sight, mixed with some light puzzles and some light platforming. Combine this with a bunch of characters to unlock and different vehicles to play as, and there's just so much things to do in this game. Plus, this is back when the LEGO games didn't actually use voice acting and they just pantomimed everything. So it's really funny to see the Star Wars movies told through this very simplistic style. Add on the fact that you can make your own character, play a bunch of secret missions, unlock hundreds upon hundreds of characters, and a bunch of other silly, goofy Easter eggs. This may not be the deepest game, but it's going to keep you busy for hours just trying to unlock all the immense content it has to offer. So back on the PS2, these two guys really came into their own and really owned the console with so many great, awesome games. And the PSP here, it's no different. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters seems like a very rudimentary game at first because it's only a couple of levels, a very short story, only a couple weapons, not a lot of in terms of upgraded gadgets and all that. But it's still a fun, awesome, engaging Ratchet game. And the fact that they were able to fit all of that onto a PSP back in 2006 is still mind-blowing. It's a full-fledged Ratchet game, just on the go. It still has the same funny humor, creative levels, imaginative design, and great gameplay you've known as before, just on a smaller scale. As the game title implies, yeah, just because it's small doesn't mean it can't be pleasurable. Lots of games I remember getting hyped for, watching every video, reading every piece of news I could about it. Other games I wasn't sure about until I tried it at a friend's house or a demo kiosk or something like that. Kingdom of Paradise, I have no idea how it came into my life, but I am absolutely glad it did because it's hands down one of the best hidden gems on the PSP. Basically, Avatar with even more Asian influence and them going to war with each other. Playing very similar to Kingdom Hearts with more of an action RPG style. You can do all sorts of different sword combos, as well as the elemental attacks, which are your magic spells. But the thing that I love more than the combat, which is actually very deep, and the multiplayer mode allows you to build your own combo and your own spells, and then put your character's combos into a simulation against another player's combos, so you can see which combos work better. But the biggest draw for me this game has to be its gorgeous art style. Taking big influence from Japanese and Chinese culture, this game feels very familiar, but also looks like nothing else like it. It has its own unique identity that I desperately want to see followed up in another sequel or a remake or just more of this game. I actively want so much sequel. I think all the games on this list are a must-buy, and you should definitely play them all. But if there's one personal game that I want people to play just because I don't think enough people know how amazing it was this game. Because even though it's a PSP game, it generally feels like a full-fledged, awesome console game. So I am a huge Jak and Daxter fan, and with the end of 3, I was really upset because I wanted more. I hadn't had my fill yet. So then when I found out not only would the PSP be launching with a Jak and Daxter game, I got really excited. And then I found out it starred Daxter. But I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and you know what? It has all the best things of what makes the Jak and Daxter series so amazing. This game is gorgeous, and it still blows my mind to this day that 10 years ago we were able to get PS2 quality graphics on a handheld. You could connect this game to Jak X on the PS2 and unlock secret cars, and the fact that you could play a PS2 game and then this PSP game and honestly not know which one is the difference still is jaw-dropping to me. The levels make really good use of Daxter's skill and just make you feel how small he is in this big world. The hub area is the same from Jak 2, but wearing that game it was fun to explore and steal cars and see all the different little nooks and crannies. Because Daxter is so small, it's so much more of a chore because he's just so tiny and it takes forever to get anywhere without your little scooter. It really doesn't make you feel like this tiny little octo in this big world. It still has the same classic Jak and Daxter stage with like the collectathons and the great platforming, but sprinkled in a little bit with Ratchet and Clank just for good measure. You can upgrade your bug swatter and your spray pack and with a hover pack and a flamethrower and all sorts of different little equipment. Plus, there's all the fun movie parody minigames, a Pokemon-esque battle bug mode, a truly great story. This game goes to show that just because the PSP is small doesn't mean it can't do great things. Now if you've noticed, something I've said a lot during this video is, wow, this almost feels like a console game, or this is really good considering it's a portable game. Crisis Core is not a portable game. It is a full-fledged, amazing, engaging game that just happens to be portable. Now I have never actually played any of Final Fantasy VII before this. So going into this was my introduction to the Final Fantasy VII series. And it was so engaging and so emotional. It actually got me really hyped to play 7. In many ways, I actually think it's a vastly superior story to 7, because 7's very traditional and very standard. It's alright, but this game has so much weight, depth, and emotion. And honestly, I really cried at the end. It's that emotional of an ending that it really gets you. After this long, long journey, to see the way everything turned out, it really gets you. I mean, hell, look at these graphics. These would be great on the PS3, let alone the PS2. So the fact that this is all contained on this tiny little PSP game will never cease to amaze me. Now, the combat is very similar to that of Kingdom Hearts in that you don't attack directly, but you have this menu which you can customize to add more attacks or more spells or more items or things of that sort as you sort through. There's also a roulette wheel in the corner which counts as your limit break, and it randomly spins, giving you different buffs and different abilities throughout the battle, which makes battles all that much more engaging because you'll never know if you'll get a lucky roll or a crappy roll. It's all in the luck of the draw. With so many different upgrades and materials to unlock, and an insane amount of side quests and side missions for you to do, besides the truly engaging and truly emotional story. This is a full package. It's not just one of the best RPG of all time. It is probably, without a doubt, my favorite Final Fantasy game. And it is evident to show that just because it's portable doesn't mean it has to be lesser games. That the PSP went on to show you could have these amazing, great, high-quality console games on the go. And here's hoping that the Vita 2, or whatever it'll be, can bring back that magic.
Everywhere just got better. PSP.
Can I play with it? Oh, when you're done.